Trump administration is planning to use AI to write federal regulations. People are uninstalling TikTok and downloading an indie competitor instead. And Google agreed to a settlement in a voice assistant privacy lawsuit. It's Tuesday, January 27th. I'm your host, Steve White, with a look at tech in the news this morning from Engadget. The Trump administration is planning on using Google Gemini to draft important federal regulations. That's according to a report by ProPublica. Now, this is starting with the Department of Transportation, according to interviews with agency staffers. Regulations created by the DOT help keep us safe when traveling. The plan was initially presented to DOT staffers last month, with agency attorney Daniel Cohen writing to colleagues about AI's potential to revolutionize the way we draft rulemakings. Gregory Zerzan, the agency's general counsel, has indicated that President Donald Trump is very excited by this initiative and that DOT will be the first agency that is fully enabled to use AI to draft rules. This does suggest a pilot program of sorts, with eventual plans to bring AI to other departments. Oddly, Zerzan doesn't seem that interested in high-quality regulations. ProPublica received transcripts of a meeting in which he declared that, quote, "We don't need the perfect rule on XYZ. We don't even need a very good rule on XYZ. He went on to say that we want good enough and that we're flooding the zone. Now, let's just remind everybody that DOT regulates the safety standards of commercial aircraft, along with rules involving the transport of hazardous materials and driver qualifications. The agency's rules touch on every aspect of transportation safety. Why would the federal government rely on a new technology that's notorious for making mistakes? Bridget Dooling, a professor at Ohio State University who studies administrative law, said, "Just because these tools can produce a lot of words doesn't mean that those words add up to a high-quality government decision. It's tempting to try to figure out how to use these tools, and I think it would make sense to try, but I think it should be done with a lot of skepticism," she said. The Department of Transportation has experienced a net loss of more than 4,000 employees since Trump started his second term. That includes over 100 attorneys. TikTok's newly formed U.S. entity is off to a very bumpy start as the app continues to face technical issues affecting the recommendation algorithm, view counts, and other features. TikTok is also seeing a wave of frustrated users uninstalling it. Analytics firm Sensor Tower, which tracks downloads and other App Store-related metrics, told CNBC that there has been a 150% rise in uninstalls of the TikTok app in the U.S. compared with the last 3 months. An analyst at Sensor Tower told Engadget that TikTok's U.S. daily active users have increased about 2% in the same time period and are flat week over week. TikTok has blamed a power outage at a data center for multiple bugs, including those affecting view counts and load times. The company has not said when users can expect a fix. Now, at the same time, an independent app called Upscrolled has seen a surge in interest over the last few days. The app is currently the 9th most downloaded app in the U.S. App Store and the 2nd most popular social app. Upscrolled also reached the top 5 in the UK and Australian app stores. In the U.S., Upscrolled's sudden popularity seems to be closely tied to recent changes at TikTok. Upscrolled looks a bit like Instagram, with users able to share photos and short-form videos. The app defaults to a chronological following feed, though it does also recommend content to users. The app is privately funded by its founder and currently has no ads, though the company says it probably will in the future. Google has agreed to a $68 million settlement regarding claims that its voice assistant inappropriately spied on smartphone users. Plaintiffs claimed that the company's Google Assistant platform began listening to them after it misheard conversations that sounded like its wake words. The suit argued that private information that Google Assistant should not have heard was then used to deliver those individuals targeted ads. Reuters reported that Google denied wrongdoing in the suit, but according to court papers, the company agreed to a settlement in order to avoid the risk and costs of litigating the issue. The preliminary class action settlement was filed on Friday and now awaits approval from U.S. District Judge Beth Lapson-Freeman. Google has been transitioning away from the Google Assistant platform in the past year, replacing it with its Gemini tool. Not that AI chatbots should be trusted as paragons of privacy either. Apple faced similar allegations around its Siri voice assistant back in 2019, and that class action suit ended in a $95 million settlement last January. Thanks for listening. There's more to these stories and a whole lot more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from Lawrence Bonk, Carissa Bell, and Anna Washenko, and it was voiced and produced from the sound studios of Spoken Layer. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow morning with more tech news from Engadget.